Wow, false start. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for being here today. This is day 80 of the income stream. How have we already made it to day 80? I don't know, but I'm so excited to be here like the previous 79 days, and we're going to keep going. And thank you for joining me today. We're going to have some fun reviewing your websites and all the ins and outs of what makes a great website experience awesome so that you can have better results in your business, whether you are just doing this as a hobby or you're turning it into a full-time business or even just a side gig, doesn't matter. We're here to serve you. Thank you so much. Welcome to the community. Quaranteam, you're awesome. And let's get started. Here we go. Welcome to the income stream.
This is the income stream to help you achieve your dream, all while we keep it clean. This is the income stream. It's the kind of show where you can come and go, but then you leave inspired with no fee required. The income stream with Pat Flynn.
All right, we're here. Welcome to day 80. This is Jammin saying, woohoo, day 80. We've got Grandma Goody saying we've come so far. I love people welcoming each other in the chat too, like Tundlea here, who's welcoming Louie, myself, Jammin, Simply Obs, fun will now commence. Martin in the house. We got Xenia and Vlada too. We have Liam, who I believe is a first-time viewer here. Welcome, Liam. Thank you so much. I saw that comment earlier as I was preparing for this morning. Tundlea, day 80. That's awesome. Nissa, Magic of Pause reporting from my personal account. What's up? Good to see you here. What's up, Pat Flynn? What's up, Amanda? Thank you for being here. Really quick, before we get started with these website reviews, we had a really good day yesterday. We burned through a whole bunch. I want to do just the same thing today. But before we do that, I want you to tell me one thing that you are doing in your business right now. Like, what's your next task? What's your next priority? And also, if you wanted to add on top of that, what's one thing that you're doing to just relax and decompress? It's been a pretty heavy sort of month and year for everybody. What's one thing that you're doing to take your mind off of things and to relax a little bit and to work on yourself and your mental health? I think that's really important. Just want to start with that message because I've seen a lot of my friends and a lot of my colleagues, both in business and not in business, get pretty burned out recently with just all the things going on. And what we then discover through discussion is just, well, they're not making a lot of time for themselves. And although it's different, although it can be hard with a schedule, especially if you got kids at home and you're homeschooling them now for the first time, there's a lot going on, right? But you still have to make some time to do you and to focus on you and to just mentally sort of take a breath every once in a while. I think that that's so important now. And we often hear statistics about, yes, there's this pandemic happening and other things happening, but oftentimes it's the result of what we're trying to do to make the pandemic better that's almost hurting people just as much, if not more. So make sure that you just continue moving forward, but at the same time, you take a breath, you pause every once in a while, and you just slow down so you can speed back up later. So I just want to provide that message to you because I think it's so important. And again, thank you to everybody who has left a super chat this month so far. We're donating to Black Lives Matter's causes, and we're really excited to distribute that income and deflect it to those who need it during this moment in time. And if you haven't yet listened to the latest podcast episode, please do listen to it. It's on the Smart Passive Income podcast. It's about 3 minutes in length, and it's going to help you understand more on my stance, my company's stance on the situation at hand right now and what we're doing about it. And that's the biggest thing here. It's not just talk. We're taking action. We're applying, and that's something that we want to provide as a example for others who perhaps have businesses and platforms too. Okay, so we have a lot going on today. Before we get into that, I want to share a little bit more, much like yesterday, about what we're looking for here when we go to these websites. So first of all, if you haven't yet done so, you can go here and you can submit your website for review, maybe today, maybe later, to get on the show. That's patflynn.com/review. That's the link, patflynn.com/review is where you want to go. That will put you on my email list, but I don't send a ton of emails. Every email I send out is important, but it's not like a weekly email or anything like that. It's just when I have something important to say. And that will allow me to collect some stuff from you that I can potentially review here on the show too. So one more sip of coffee. And let's get into this. So this is what I'm looking for. When I visit these websites, you can visit them and almost audit them with me. And you can practice and get your reps in for what makes a great website with me. Number one, does it tell me who this is for and what's in it for me? So not me, Pat Flynn, or perhaps not even you, but for the target audience. I want to know who this target audience is and how does this person who owns this website display that they know who they're talking about, or that a person coming to the website can know that you're talking to them. And also, why am I here? What's the purpose? What am I going to get out of this? Number 2, are you helping me know what to do first? A lot of times websites are just a big Frankenstein-like just combination of a whole bunch of things. And I want to know if you know what the most important thing is. I want to know if you are directing me and navigating me to the things that are most important. And how do you keep me going through the website? How do you keep me opening new pages? How do you keep me scrolling down the page? This is something that's really important for search engine optimization, right? So number 1, helping people stick on a website, right? The hook and the tagline and whatnot, should you have those. But then number 2, okay, time on site, pages per visit. These are signals for Google for search engine optimization. Number 3, how am I connecting to you versus others? So this is where the personalization comes into play. I'm not saying that you necessarily have to have a personal blog. You don't even necessarily have to put your image on there, but in many cases it makes sense to do that. And when you're not doing that, you're leaving out the possibility for connection. I'm just looking for how can I connect with you, the blogger, the author, the contributor, the host, whatever. And there are some really simple ways to do this, right? Images work really well, right? You see a person, you kind of know who's on the other end, but also the way that you speak on your website. We had some really good examples yesterday of people who it was an approach that was much like how I would imagine they would have a conversation, right? So it was less professional, even though it was like a professional website or they were trying to get clients. It was very much a style that you could tell, like that was kind of a bit about the personality, and I really liked that, right? Number 4, non-essentials and distractions. So when I come to these pages, are there anything that's like, well, this isn't really necessary, or you're pulling me away from the thing I came here for? Pop-ups, and we're going to see a few examples of those most likely today, as well as just other images that may not even be required. The litmus test I like to use is if I were to remove something, would it take away from the experience overall? Would it remove from the messaging and the purpose? Or would it just kind of be like, oh, well, I guess I didn't need that. And that's what we want to look for as well. And let's see, finally, branding and design. So it's interesting because that's what most people start with. Like, let's nail the brand, let's nail the design. Those things are important, right? But when you start with that, you don't nail these other things. And I think it's important to, whether it's content or design, whichever one is your main focus, to understand that, well, the most important thing is you have to know why people are there and what they're going to get, right? Cool. Really good tip here from OMG Cornholio related to, where is this? Where did that comment go? Well, it was related to the idea of using page speed insights to check how your pages perform in terms of speed across mobile and desktop. If you have a tool, Cornholio, just reminds me of Beavis and Butthead, by the way. I don't know if that's what that's in reference to, but I used to watch that. Hashtag bruh, what's up? Bruh. Rap and combat, yep. And again, welcome everybody. Thanks for being here. My name's Pat Flynn. If you're seeing this for the first time, we do website reviews on the weekends. During the midweek, we do some Q&A, but a lot of thematic days. This week, we're going to get into social media. So tomorrow, we're going to start talking about Instagram. In fact, I want to talk about Instagram, how to use it, how to utilize it, who's somebody that you could follow related to that. Anyway, thank you for the intro, and I'm here to help you make more money, save more time, and help more people too. And Rapid Combat asking for and on behalf of me, please like the video if you haven't already. That's down here, the little like button. Do that, that'd be awesome. Thanks so much. So let's get into it. So first of all, I want to thank everybody who I'm about to review, because you're essentially being very vulnerable right now. You are willing to share at your website so that I can point out the mistakes and the things that you can improve. Mind you, all these comments are here to help you improve. I want to be brutally honest, and I'm going to be kind. I'm not going to be like, oh my gosh, that's the ugliest thing I've ever seen. But I'm going to tell you what you can do to improve. And hopefully, for those of you following along, you can improve your websites and your online business platforms and your internet real estate better too. We've had a few people from yesterday, in fact, say that they were following along, watching live, and actually making changes while watching and already seeing results, from more people staying on the website to more shares because of better titles or things like that. So let's get into this. Hashtag bruh. That's it. I love Beavis and Butthead. Cornholio. Okay, that was, okay, wow. Okay, here we go. So first we're going to start with Erica James Travel. What's up, Erica? Thanks for being here today. And the first thing I noticed when I came on this webpage was, boom, there's this slider that comes in on the right-hand side, which I kind of like the slider coming in versus like a pop-up, but it feels very pop-up-y. And unfortunately, this does not do the job for me. I like how it's purple. I like how it's just bold. I like how you're telling me what to do, but you're asking me too early, number one. And number two, you're not selling me. Like, join my mailing list, never miss an update. Here's essentially what that means. You're saying, hey, subscribe here so I can send you more emails. Nobody wakes up in the morning and goes, I want more emails. At least not anybody I know or have ever come across in my 12 years of business. We subscribe to things so that we can get what is on the other end of those emails. So we need to sell this a little bit more. I would have some bullet points, what kinds of things, even if it's just updates, like what kind of updates? What is the selling point here? You're not selling your email list. You are selling what people get in these emails. So this is related to travel. I can see I'm going to click out of this. And thank you for, again, allowing me to share these things. The beginning of your journey starts with Erica James Travel. So love this image here. It really does display the theme of the website. We had some examples from yesterday where we had pictures that had nothing to do with the website. This is obviously travel, and I do want to tell you that the text does not, it blends in a little too much, the white text on the background. So one strategy you can do if you're having problems with your text showing up because it's the same or similar color to an image that's in front of, you can either darken the text or make it more contrasty, or you can darken or blur or just kind of change the background a little bit. You can keep the background the same. You can just add a layer, a dark layer over it and sort of, or change the opacity, if you will, and that will often have the colors and the text pop out a little bit more. So I think that's important, but I like how it's framed here. The beginning of your journey. So imagine I come to this page and I'm going, okay, the beginning of my journey. I mean, that's a very not so specific thing. How might you share or add a little bit more? Because you can add a tagline on top of that. If that is indeed something you say all the time, you can keep that, the beginning of your journey. But what do I have here that I don't get anywhere else, right? Everything is the beginning of my journey because today is the first day of the rest of my life, right? But how might you get a little bit more descriptive, perhaps in a tagline, kind of in the ocean part here, that you can then be more descriptive of, right? And I do see the beginning of your journey here as well, which is okay. You can keep that. But what's the one sentence you can say to keep people on that they'll know exactly what they're going to get here? So do you make travel cheaper for people? Do you make travel something that's accessible to people who don't often get to travel? Do you share and create really helpful compendiums of undisclosed locations? What is it about your travel blog? Because there's millions, literally millions of travel blogs out there. What's the one thing you're going to say that's going to stand out, right? So I'm going to scroll down. Love that you share a little bit about yourself, like right up front there. I love this image. Hi, I'm Erica James, travel advisor, blogger, and podcast host. I help real people with real jobs and real budgets travel well by exceeding their expectations without exceeding their budget. So now, okay, so this is great, and it's along the lines of what I was sharing. So I have to scroll down to know that this is a very budget-friendly travel website, right? And we don't want to use that term budget-friendly travel website because that's not how people talk. When it comes to your target audience, how might they describe themselves, how they want to get access to travel, but perhaps don't have necessarily unlimited funds to do that, right? So, and again, this is very common, so don't feel so bad about this, but it's like, it's all about me, right, really quick. Like, here's what I do, here's what I'm helping people do, but what am I going to get out of this, right? So it's just a little bit of positioning. Look at the parallax effect here on the website. That's really cool. Let's say you have a podcast as well, which is really neat. And I don't see a link for the podcast up top, which is really interesting. If that is something that is of utmost importance, which I can see up here, you can have a link for it up top. I don't see a link for it up top. I do see a link for videos, but I don't see a link for a podcast. So with how popular podcast is and how often people want to look for them on web pages, I would definitely have that in your navigation menu. Scrolling down, check them. Oh, there's the podcast down there. Here's the podcast, my YouTube channel, cool. What my clients say, testimonials, which is great. If you can add images with testimonials, it just makes them 1,000% better, if that's possible. Again, join my mailing list. We're not selling people into that. So, okay, this is great, but like now, okay, services. I want to click on that because I want to understand, okay, what exactly are you offering me here? Group travel, all-inclusive resorts, ocean cruises, river cruises, vacation planning, villas, vacation homes, virtual consult. Okay, so this is really cool. Might there be one particular service that you could bring on the homepage, maybe your most popular one, and then you can have people click to learn more? Because if you scroll down and you really want people to get into those services, It's like I'm scrolling down and then I lose it. I don't even have a link to get to your services when I get to the bottom of your page. So if that is definitely important, which it seems to be because it's very close to the beginning of your navigation menu here, let's pull out maybe your favorite part of that and then have people click to find more about those group travel experiences and learn more about other things that you have to offer. The other thing I will say is I have a lot of people in the travel industry right now. By the way, the page looks really good. I think it's really designed well. And this is now where we can focus on the words that you say and where we want people to go, right? And of course, when we go into services, I think it's important to understand, okay, if that's important, let me click to learn more about group travel. 2021 group travel, Alaska cruise. This is where we want to have testimonials. This is where we want to, like, I shouldn't have to click to see group photos. I want to feel what it might be like to be on these travel experiences with you right here on this page. You've had me click on multiple things to get here already. There's a lot of friction. Let's reduce the friction. I often say this. Let's reduce the friction as much as possible. I love these options here too. It sounds really cool. And again, travel is a very expensive thing often, so perhaps bringing in a lot of the notes of why people are here, right? Like budget friendly. So, hey, here are some budget friendly group travel options if you'd like to connect with people in the community, full on experiences to help you have a great time, and always having budget friendly in mind. And on these experiences, we're going to have number of days together and arrangements are taking care of you. And with the Alaska cruise, maybe even like bullet points of different places and things like that. So I have to now again like click to learn more again about this. And okay, cool. Hopefully some testimonials, please, because this is something that with how expensive it is, people are going to go, oh, I don't know if I should book this, right? Like, what's going to be the proof that this is something that will be worth my time? So hopefully this helps you, Erica. Thank you so much, but we just need more support for what it is that you're offering. That's the big theme here. On the website, when people arrive, more support on what you can do for people, the budget-friendly, the done-for-you experiences, these kinds of things. And then when we go to these experiences, like what exactly can I share closer or earlier on without me having to click all the way through, if that makes sense. I like what Kathy says here. Should be able to get to any web page by no more than 2 clicks, 3 on the outside. Very cool. So thank you, Erica. I appreciate you, and keep up the great work. Okay, next we're going to go to Charlie here, who has archery history, which is a pretty unique sort of thing to talk about, right? So what I want to know is, and I don't know this about you, I might go to the About page and find out, but what is the purpose of this website for you? Is this just an interest and you want to share information and you're hoping to make a little bit of money, or is this a full-time practice? Do you have a store perhaps, or do you sort of own a archery company? A history website is more informational, right? But there is the possibility to still have people be interested in history and then get interested more in working with you and getting access to you and your knowledge about the topic. This is for like the archery files out there, right? The people who are just so in love with history, much like how I used to be in love with architecture history, and it made me fall in love with the industry even more and want to support the industry in whole. So I'm curious about the topic and what your ultimate goals are here. However, I just want to browse through the website a little bit more. The homepage here could be a lot more built out. There could be a lot more information. I think it's important to have us understand more about you, right? And why this is of interest to you. I don't think that needs to be up front, but here on the homepage, I think that if you are indeed connecting with other archery historians here, it might be interesting to have people find out more about you, the historian, and what you could do and why you're doing this, and have people connect with you, right? Dole Whip Dad says, the mug, where is it from today? Today we're talking about Charlotte. So this was from an event I spoke at today. So every day, thanks for reminding me, because I have a different mug almost every day, much like how I have a different t-shirt. But anyway, oh, there you are. I'm talking to you over there. Thank you for the super chats. I appreciate that, Rafal. Thank you so much for that. Let me just scroll up, just make sure. Okay. Okay, let's go to the About page. I want to learn more about you. About the archery historian. The archery historian has always been fascinated by the bow and arrow. His father made him small self bows. So cool. It's interesting that it's in click here for contact information. So I think that's a picture of you. So yeah, it's obvious to me that you want to connect with other archers, right? You're asking for information from them, like what kind of bow they have on that survey that I just saw. It's not so easy to connect with a person when they are being spoken about in third person, right? It's a little less personal. It's a little less direct. So you could keep it third person, but it almost just separates you a little bit from your audience. And if indeed you want to connect with this audience and you have a community, I mean, I could imagine over time that there could be this really strong community, even a podcast and a Facebook group or Mighty Networks or a circle.so community related to archery. And you just happen to be this authority based on your knowledge and the other people that you connect with in the space. This very much reminds me of my friend Phil Lichenberger, who is somebody who started a podcast and a brand about scanner radios, like ham radios. And that's just a very specific hobby, right? Much like archery is too. And by creating a podcast, by him showing up, by him talking about his experience and his love in first person, and with creating moments of time for him to connect with his audience through Facebook Lives, through social media, he's become this authority in the space. And now his work and Phil himself are being shared within that community. And now companies are even reaching out to him to want to work with him and get in front of that audience, right? So I think that it feels like this is more of a Wikipedia right now. That's honestly how it feels. It feels very Wikipedia-like. And when you go to Wikipedia, you get information, and what do? You leave, right? You leave. And we want to have people stay, it seems, right? And so how might you show up a little bit and connect? I think it would be really, really interesting to have more information about you and your love for it, right? Your own personal collection. Do you share your collection? Do you have like very detailed posts about like specific bows and all this information about them? So maybe, here goes, the Muggle bow. Wow, look at that. That's awesome. I see these ads on here too, and it's a company that I see that I have purchased clothing from. It's like the Lululemon, but for men, Roan, which is interesting. So that's based on search, which is fine. It's okay to have ads in here. I'm wondering how they're converting for you. I'm wondering what your search is like. So look at this. Look at all this information here. This is cool. Is this your YouTube channel or is this somebody else's? Okay, so this looks like it's somebody else's stuff that you're finding and embedding on there, which is totally okay. That's in fact a very underutilized strategy to enhance your own content by utilizing and embedding content from elsewhere. Persian bow. This is really cool. Known for their excellence. So I'm also curious to know how you have experienced these bows. And is this your collection? Again, the more I can understand that you are an expert here and that this is like, the more I want to connect with you. But again, this feels very Wikipedia, and I think it's really important to have us hopefully understand that when we show up a little bit more, we're able to connect and bring people back. Subscribing to your email list, again, same comment as Erica's website from before, just you need to tell people why we need to subscribe to the email list. Are they joining a community? Are they getting access to special material? Do they get the most detailed information about bows in the internet? Like, you need to step up and go, here, this is who I am. Not necessarily, again, about you, but this is what this website is about and why we need to have people come back, right? Let's go to your shop just to finish up here. I like the font. I like the website. It's not the best sort of designed website, but it does the job, right? And if you saw yesterday, I shared some history of my own websites, and they looked just very plain, but they did the job. And this is something that I think supports the images, and it supports the text, and it doesn't take away from that, which oftentimes highly designed websites do. Traditional bows for sale. We bring to life the archers of history with our collection of handmade bows. So this is like a store. It might be interesting to, yeah. So I mean, this is like more like a Shopify store versus, some information about perhaps where these bows come from, and maybe a little bit of a video about how you put them together, and just you showing up again as the historian talking specifically about each of these bows. If I click on this bow, for example, might I get an article that you have written about this bow to just go deeper into it. Because the more I can understand, like that Muggle bow blog post, like, do you link to where people can buy similar bows and from you, right? Because you've delivered all this value and you've shared some history about it too. It might be interesting for you to also connect with other people in the industry, or people who's, like, for example, the Muggle bow, you can interview somebody or bring somebody on who can then become an expert, if you are not the expert yourself, to share more information, to have you connect to the industry. They might be able to share your stuff with their friends and family and followers to bring more people back to your website. There's really cool. Whose website is this one? This one is Charlie. So thank you, Charlie, and good stuff. I think it's well written. I think that it feels very disconnected right now to me, somebody who's interested in archery. I want to get to know who's behind it and how I can and why I should continue to come back, and what am I going to get on the email list. Cool. Okay, so let's next talk about Amanda. Amanda from Rise Up Podcast. So first of all, very welcoming image, very clean, very minimal, but does a job in helping me understand, especially for a podcast. Podcast is a very intimate way of creating content and supporting somebody in an audience. And so by you showing up, it's very clear, like, okay, this is the host, and that's great, right? Perhaps there could be, if this is indeed a specific page built for a podcast, some sort of podcast related item there could make sense, right? Like having an image of you behind a microphone or talking versus just a regular image. Again, this image looks great and you're looking directly at the camera and it fits perfectly on the page, but just because it's a podcast, having a little bit more imagery that supports the podcast can go a very long way. Perhaps there's a way for you to integrate your podcast artwork, for example. Let's see, download all the tools you need to get a raise. So what I love about what I've seen here is this copy, very, very clear on what it is that this podcast is for, right? Welcome to Raise Up Nation, America's only podcast focused on how you can get a raise at work. Expert interviews, strategies, and behind-the-scenes secrets from my biggest guests. Plus, we've built the ultimate guide for how to get a raise at work. So, decent. I would give that a B+. However, it's very important that we understand that we should be leaning into more of what the benefit is versus what it is that you do. Right? You're talking about a lot of features, right? Expert interviews, strategies, behind the scenes secrets, plus a guide on how to get a raise. Cool. But what is this ultimately going to do for me? Yes, it's going to help me even get a raise, but what might that unlock for me? The more that you can tune into and try to describe why this is important versus just what you are offering, the more results you're going to get. So, number one, I can see that the most important thing you want me to do on the webpage is, and the reason I say that, it's like, okay, we are I have America's only podcast. I have expert interviews. Download here. Here is a guide that I made, right? My team and I compiled the gold nuggets into this ultimate guide. I interview experts. So a lot of I. The only you I see here is you can earn a raise at work, which is great. That's why it's a B+, and not just, it's all about you. You've talked about what's in it for me, but let's go one level deeper. What might the raise do for me, right? What might happen if I don't get the raise? What might happen if I just stay stagnant? What does this unlock for me, right? So let's go deeper into the benefit. And this is a big challenge. This is the hardest thing for a person to do when it comes to sharing information about their brand, because we only know what we're doing. But the more that you can tie in the benefit and get in the heads of your target audience, the better it's going to help you, right? So as Kathy says here, more you, less I. So more you, less I. You can just use the same stuff. It's just repositioning the sentences, and it just sometimes just that will click with people, right? Okay, so let me click here because this is obviously the first thing you want me to do. Now, it's interesting that you have a webpage for a podcast, yet I don't see your podcast artwork or a way to subscribe to your show already. I do see a link up here to subscribe. I'll click on that in a moment because podcasters, we have some specific things that are challenging for us. But let me go to click here now because this is obviously the first thing you want me to do. So I'm going to click here. Get paid what you're worth for a limit. By the way, that should open up a new page. If it is indeed to help a person subscribe to something, we need to have it open in a new page, because now if I go down this route, I've lost where I was. Right? I lost where I was. So that should open a new page, number one, but let me click on that. Get paid what you're worth. For a limited time, I'm giving away our highly detailed must-have top 10 tips for getting a raise free. In this 14-page guide, you'll learn top 10. So number one, I don't think you need to mention it's a 14-page guide. That would scare me. I think, and in fact, I would only mention how many pages it is if it's like 3 or less. And the reason for that, or 5 or less, the reason for that is because 14 pages is a lot. That's intimidating. It's like, wow, there's 10 tips, but it's 14 pages. I don't have time. Right? How might you then instead say, something that will, like it's easier to get through, right? So more content is not necessarily better. It's quality content. It's what you can do to save time, right? So, and Kathy, thank you so much for your comments here today, because you're better describing or summarizing the things here for everybody else too, which I love. So I do see that. I recognize that. I want to thank you for that. And many of you are doing it too. I just see Kathy continuing to come in here like that, which is really cool. So I appreciate that. So let's keep going here. Yes, send it to me. So here's the funny thing. Like I went from here. So this is 1 click. Now it's 2 clicks. Now it's 3 clicks. I think that if you already are getting people to click from the homepage to subscribe to get something, you can already put the form in there. So this 2-step opt-in process works where, you see a form and you're like, oh yes, I want that. Boom. Now I'm going to follow through. That works. But this is essentially a 3-step process now, because I'm like 1, 2, 3. The 3-step process is not going to work as well. So what I would do is just have click, and perhaps it could open up a light box where I don't have to go to a new page, but it just makes the background blurry, right? But anyway, I should just be able to fill this form out right now, because I already said yes, I want it, right? This content here is great to support why I need to put my name and email in. You don't have to have me click on another thing, because every click is another reason for me to go, should I click on that? I don't know if I should, and then I'm out. Right? So hopefully that makes sense. But here's the first time I'm seeing something that's just very clear and very blunt about what's going to happen, right? The raise helps me make more money. And we can, again, go even further into that as well. Keisha has a nice takeaway here as well. Don't share the page number unless it's small. I like this and appreciate the wisdom on that. You're welcome. You're welcome. This was like back in the day when we were doing online courses, or when I got into online courses. I remember that it was very, very easy for people to go, hey, we have 28 hours of videos here in this course. Like, hey, buy it. It's worth this much. My favorite course is from Michael Hyatt. It's 4 videos, each 15 minutes each. It's 1 hour of content. And it's the best course I've ever taken, because it gets me to do what I need to do to discover what I need. And that is called Best Year Ever by Michael Hyatt. If anybody's taken that, let me know in the chat. But that's an amazing course because it gives me what I need in the shortest period of time. And it's more valuable because there's less content, in fact, which is hard, right? Michael here says just very bluntly, that extra click is frustrating. You already hooked me. Cool. So I know we spent a lot of time just on like that. We haven't even scrolled down, but hopefully that makes sense. And again, this looks like the same guide. Wow. Okay. This looks like the same guide. Nice little testimonial here, which is cool. I like how you're talking about yourself here, but down below, which is great. Top ranked Raise Up podcast. Subscribe on iTunes. Number 1, it's not iTunes anymore. It's Apple Podcast. And number 2, what if people have an Android? What if people prefer to listen on Overcast? What if people listen on Spotify now? Spotify is growing. What if people want to listen on Stitcher? Unfortunately, with a podcast, we have to give people all the options because we can't control where a person wants to listen to their show. And that's one of the hardest things to do, right? Are these pre-selected or can you submit here? You can submit here. However, these ones I've selected ahead of time just so we can get through more today. But next week, I'm going to be submitting more. And I do randomly select, not just from who is submitted from the past day, but overall. So subscribe on iTunes. This opens up Apple, I assume. And again, this opens up on the same page. We want it to open up on a different page or else we've lost people, right? Beautiful artwork there. I love that. It connects with the home page, which is cool. Like this should say Raise Up, right? Instead of Welcome to Raise Up Nation, I think it should just say Raise Up. If that's your podcast artwork, Raise Up. Like that's almost more of a call to action, right? Raise up. listen to America's only podcast on how you can get a raise at work so that you can unlock more opportunities in your life. Through expert interviews and strategies and behind the scenes secrets, you'll discover exactly how to get a raise, including how to talk to your boss, how much to ask for. And, like I would get into a little bit of nitty gritty there, like the very most common things that people are wondering about and curious about when it comes to a website. So I apologize. I wasn't showing the screen there, but this is the Raise Up podcast, and subscribe on iTunes is the only call to action. I want to have all the different links there. And then also I was saying that Rise Up could just be here as a call to action, which could be really cool, right? So, and then the other thing that I was saying there is like, let's insert some stuff that often is objections to this. I'm going to show you things like not just how, so see, this is a very clear difference here, right? There's one thing to say, hey, I'm going to do expert interviews. I'm going to give you the behind the scenes secrets. I'm going to give you this versus, so that's very me-centric, right? Versus you'll learn how to have conversations with your boss to get a raise. I'll show you the secret ways to increase your percentage raise. I'm going to help you understand how to, fill out your resume, right? Like very specific. Here's what you're going to learn. Here's the things for you, right? Versus here's what I do. No, here's what you get. And so pick the most important and biggest pains or struggles that people have when it comes to getting a raise, and just like literally share that's the kind of stuff that you're going to be talking about, right? So I think that's really cool. Okay, so we talked a lot about very few but very important things here, so I hope that helps. Okay. All right, next let's talk to Shadab. So Shadab's website here is very more so sort of feeling like it's coming from a professional company versus a person. And that's not bad. I'm just saying that that's sort of the feel I have here. And if that's not what you're going for, well, then make sure to address that. But I love the design here. It's very playful. It's very sort of, the font is really good. The number one thing you want me to do, obviously, here is to either check out your blogs or get these free lessons, which I don't know if those are two of the same things. So I'm going to click on this. And again, this opens on the same page, which is okay, because this is where you've pointed me to. That is just continuing the journey through your website versus sort of like a fork in the road that I can go to then want to come back to. So I think that it's okay that it opens on a new page here. Unfortunately, I see no results found. And this is a big, big red flag. It's like, okay. And then you have read more, but I'm clicking on your blog to read more. And this is the first thing on your navigation menu. So one thing I would recommend you all do is and it's funny how often we don't do this. Go to your website, click around and go, what's a person's reaction when they get here, right? Consider what a person is feeling or wants to do or is questioning when they go to different parts of your website, right? So, and thank you, Amanda, you're awesome. So it's like, okay, like literally the first thing you want me to do is like go to our blogs. First of all, it makes it seem like you have multiple blogs, right? When it's our blogs versus just the blog, or I wouldn't even say the blog. I would just say, click here for our best articles, right? Because blog is very it's not very specific. Maybe even say, click here to see our best and most popular content, right? Which oftentimes people want. They don't want necessarily the blog, which is just, hey, the latest content is the one that you should read. No, that's not very good in terms of helping people wayfind their way through your website. It should be a start here page, for example, with, okay, from all the stuff that we have in the archive, this is what I recommend you should read first, right? It's more hand-holding versus, here, go figure it out yourself, right? So how might you hold a person's hand through your content versus just dumping everything to everybody? And that's not going to be as strong. So anyway, I click on our blogs, I arrive here, and I'm like, okay, what is personal finance? 2 comments, no results found is really not cool. But like, is this just the one post that you have? Read more. What is personal finance? Okay. I should, at least at this point, be receiving some sort of information that describes this. You're having me go through so many loopholes to get here. right? And then I scroll down and finally I get some stuff. Management of your money is personal finance. Yes, you heard me right. Planning to rightfully save and invest money into various financial products is personal finance. So to meet your desired goal in a specific period of time, whether it can be tax plan, retirement. So, okay. So a lot of good written content here, but the hook is not there for me. How might you hook me in? What is the purpose of learning personal finance, right? What is the benefit of learning? This is just seeming like a definition, right? This is just a definition, and a definition for something is not going to be enough for me to go, yes, this is like going to help me, right? It should be something like why understanding personal finance can be the difference between going broke and being rich, right? A little bit of a clickbaity title. But now I'm curious, like I don't want to be broke, I want to be rich, but personal finance is the means to get there. But if you're just giving me the definition of personal finance, that's not hooking me in. We need a hook to get from, hey, what's here, to yes, this is exactly what I was looking for, right? So income, passive income job, freelance with an E over there. Yeah, I'm just, I'm going to be browsing through this website and go, it's probably... I could probably find something a little bit better elsewhere, just to be honest with you. Now, free lessons is the other thing that you obviously wanted people to go through. Now, this looks like very much like a course library. This looks very professional. I like what I'm seeing here. Let me click on wealth management and see where you take me. And unfortunately, I think that maybe this is just a brand new website because these don't take me anywhere. I can see some Latin here. Vivavis Magna Justo, which is just placeholder image, placeholder stuff. So we have some work to do. Just the best advice I can give you is, and if things aren't ready yet, like don't have them on the page, right? You have a blog post, you have some stuff happening, but until it's ready for me to go through and read, then just have them not public yet, right? And the font's really small. So we have a lot of work to do there, but hopefully that's helpful for you. And again, the best lesson for you and everybody else is just like go through your webpage and like see where there might be red flags. And where there are red flags, you can either remove those things or fix those things, and just consider what a person's experience is going to be as they go through. All right, next, let's go to Lisa's website, Lisa Videria. And this is in Portuguese, I believe. And I'm just going to comment on what I can. Again, I can't read this, but it is something that I'm going to share. And I might be able to translate it. I'm not sure in terms of Google Translate. But the first thing I noticed was this pop-up. It came up right away. Again, very, very aggressive, right? And I think that we need to understand that this is like going to somebody's house and, you invited a person over to your house. But as soon as a person walks in the door, you start like offering them something that like they haven't even taken their shoes off yet. And for me, Filipino family, we take off our shoes before we go in the home. So anyway, whether you take off your shoes or not, they're like in the doorway still, and you are offering them stuff. You're not making them feel welcome. You're not making them feel like they're comfortable there. You're not asking them what they might need. You're not helping them take off their coat yet. You're literally like shoving something in their face right up top, and we don't want to do that, right? So let me get rid of this. And I'm just going to comment here on the design. I like that there's sort of like a slider here with videos, which is pretty cool. I'm not necessarily sure what happens when I click on these videos. So it was weird. I clicked play to then now have to click play. So that's one of those little moments where I'm like, okay, how might I be able to solve that? It should be able to hopefully autoplay. I think that you're using Vimeo here, but I clicked play already. You can just have it click play from there. But pretty cool. I like that animation. I like that. But if I go back to the home page, I'm not quite sure that you are describing or sharing what the purpose of this web page is right up top, right? I don't know if what this is for. I see you have a podcast as well, which is great. I like that it's in the navigation menu. Thank you for that. This looks like an ebook that you want to have people subscribe to get. In addition to the artwork, I like that you have the artwork there. It's like, here's the ebook. It's on an iPad. I like that. That's really great. But you're not like some bullet points. Just what is this? What's it going to do for me? Sell it to me, right? Here's a podcast episode. Let me click on that. Now, this looks like a very generic stock image. That's not necessarily helping you, right? I would imagine. This is the kind of image that's when used. And again, I don't know what this content is about, but these stock images you got to be careful of because, again, this is one of those examples, like I said, if the image were to go away, would it actually remove value from the content? Probably not, right? And look at how much space this is taking up here. This is not necessarily drawing me in. What I want to know is this. I want to play the podcast episode. Now, again, I don't know the type of content here. Perhaps this content is about, for example, diversity, in which case, okay, this image would support that. I'm not quite sure because you have people of all colors here, which is great. But I think that we want to get people into the player really, really fast. And you scroll down, it looks like there's a transcript too, which is great. And cool. I like that you show up here too, Lisa, which is great. And you're interacting with your comment section, which is really fantastic. I think that needs to happen more across all platforms. You have a little bit of a description of yourself there. You have some links, perhaps, of things that were mentioned in the podcast episode. So yeah, that's not bad. But one thing that you can do here is, because for you podcasters out there who have a podcast on your website, a lot of people are going to find your podcast first time on your website, which is really important to understand, because that's perhaps where people link to. That's perhaps where people describe you and your show. They link to your website, not necessarily a link to a specific Apple or Spotify or Google podcast. What's up, Hericher? Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate that. But when it comes to where your podcast is shared here, where might people subscribe to get more of your podcast? Like, is it going to be this? So Apple Podcasts here, subscribe with RSS. That's not enough. We need to have a link for Spotify. We need to have, and I would just like bullet point list it to make it easy. Click here to subscribe on Apple. Click here to subscribe on Spotify. Click here to subscribe on Google Podcasts. Click here to subscribe on etc. Right? At Reef, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate that. So really important. We want people to go subscribe to those channels, but we need to also better enhance the experience here on the website. I'd recommend checking out fusebox.fm, which allows for a player that allows people to go deeper into your podcast, to better display your show notes, to even have timestamps available, all those kinds of things. Fusebox.fm. Full disclosure, that is one of my companies. Okay, finally, let's see, the contact page. I think this is a big lesson. Contact pages are often a very, very underserved, underutilized, almost just extra, like, okay, I'll put that up there, part of a website. Your contact page can be a moment to sell more of your stuff, and not necessarily sell more of your product, but sell more on the idea that this is a place that people can come to for whatever kind of information that you have to share. And a person coming to your contact page is often very warm, and a lot of times it's just like, here, click to leave a message. But having your face show up there versus like this coffee, I don't know, again, this is another image that doesn't necessarily support what the content is on the page, right? Unless you say, I think perhaps I know where you're going. It's like, hey, let's have a coffee together, right? But just an image of a coffee is not going to do that. Perhaps, Lisa, it's an image of you going like, right? Like, or however you do it, just, maybe it's an image like this, or like this, or like that. Now it's inviting. Now I have coffee, but it's like inviting you to have a conversation with me, right? Which could be really cool. And they get to see you. Who are they contacting? They're not contacting an espresso glass. They're contacting you. So Lisa, I know you're comfortable showing up on the page because I saw an image of you in the sidebar here. So how might you, on a place where people want to contact you, have people see who they're going to contact? Contact. I never said it like contact. Anyway, really cool website. And again, I apologize. I don't know exactly necessarily what to share in terms of the content, but hopefully it's supporting the purpose, and hopefully you're also sharing the purpose and what people are going to get when they arrive on the website. Cool. You guys enjoying yourself so far? If you are, hit me up with a thumbs up. I love doing these reviews. I think that this is some of the highest valuable stuff that we do. Unfortunately, it's the weekend, so not as many people come in, but I do know a lot of people watch the replays. And if you're watching the replay, let me know in the chat, or in the comments. Just say, hey, I'm watching the replay. Thank you so much. I'll heart your comment as a result, and I'm so thankful for that. Cool. Cozy cup feel, right? This is my warm cozy cup, right? Okay. Jonathan, yo, thank you for the super sticker. That is awesome. You guys are great. Fantastic. Okay, let's keep going. I got a couple more to go through, and perhaps have some time for a few more, because I'm enjoying myself, and I hope you are enjoying yourself too. Okay. Next, we're going to go to, who is this? Arnold. Arnold's website at Offer Moves. Offer Moves. So this is more of a company website. I like the logo. Real estate, Offer Moves. Get multiple offers on your home in one place. Your home sold guaranteed. Cool. I like that. It's interesting that it's like the multiple offers, which is like the feature, is bigger than the benefit. I think it needs to be flipped. Excuse me. Does that make sense? So, whoa. Hey, Rahan, who is spamming the chat. First of all, YouTube is hiding them because you were just spamming. So you need to slow down a little bit or else it's not going to come through. And number two, just that leaves a really bad impression. I'm sorry. Just keep that in mind. You don't want to come into groups. Like imagine you went into a group of people in real life and you just started blurting out all the things that you're saying right now. That's not going to be good, right? These are humans here. This is a group of people like we're in a room together. So just keep that in mind. If you keep it up, I know everybody else can't see it, but if you keep that up, I'm going to boot you. I apologize, but it's just, you can't come in here and do that. This is my house. This is my house. These are my rules, okay? And I'm doing it for your benefit too. Andrew says, I'm listening and checking out the reviews while my son and I play Fortnite. Hey, guess what's going to happen in about an hour here on my end too. Anyway, let's go to this website, Offer Moves. Get multiple offers on your home in one place. Cool. That's sort of the unique thing perhaps about what you do. But your home sold guaranteed is so small. But that's like exactly what people want, right? So the method by which you make that happen is getting multiple reviews, which is really interesting. And see, look at that. People are okay. Rahan said sorry just now, and I love that. Thank you so much. You're still welcome to come in here. Thank you. Thank you. No, you are the best. You are the best. So thank you for being open to learning and being open and upfront about your mistakes. I think more of the world needs that kind of stuff. Anyway, love this website. Love the feel of the page. Get my free offers. Welcome to the easiest way to sell your home. This text, super tiny. I can't even read this. Explore all your selling options and pick the one that works. Like literally, like this is what I'm doing to read this page. That's not good. So we need to pull that font up a little bit more, okay? So let's see. Step one. I like how you have the steps here for something as big as selling a house. Having it be easily, having it be easily discovered, like in terms of how easy is this process. I like this a lot. So step one, request your offers online on your smartphone. I think that we can. I like this part here. The summary of the step needs to be bigger because that is what's going to help my eye go through these steps much more. Because you're having me the purpose of breaking things down into steps, is to make them easier to consume. But then you kind of deflate that by having all this text here, right? So I think that we can make it much bigger here, kind of like a sub headline, right? Step one, request your offers on your smartphone. Step two, get competitive offers within 24 hours. Step three, complete a free home assessment. Step four, choose your close date and move on to your schedule. And it might be interesting to know how long it might take for these steps to happen, right? You mentioned in 24 hours, which is cool, but what is the average time by which you are able to help people sell a home or at least get offers, right? Get offers within 24 hours. That should be here. Get multiple offers within 24 hours. Because that will help me describe, in my head, how long is this process going to take? That's a huge value add that I would include up there. Let's see, offer moves. Now, again, these are stock images that I'm seeing here. Where's some information about, so this is pretty cool. That's awesome. I like that. But I want to see some context here. Is this, what's this person's name and how long did this deal take? Everything that you share on this page should be supporting the benefit of using offer moves, right? So quick offers within 24 hours. Cool. Hey, this is our home this is Lisa who had multiple offers in her home within 18 hours. She had 7 offers to her home in 18 hours, right? So something again that supports the thing, right? Something that supports the thing. So let's see how easy it would be to work with you. So I'm just going to go through the process as if I'm buying a home because I want to understand how this might go for me. So I'm going to click on that. Enter your home address, which I'm not going to do. Arnold showing up there. This could be an image of you, Arnold. This is the point at which I think it's that friendly face you want to see, right? Still, so far, it's who am I talking to? Is this a real thing? If it is indeed your agent, have your face up there, a nice friendly picture. Get multiple offers for your home in one place. That's the same exact That's the same exact thing you mentioned earlier. I think we need to describe it differently because that's just a waste to say the same thing twice, right? I would say something like, ready to receive offers within the next day? Question mark. Enter your name and email address, or your name and address below. Tell us about your home, etc. So I would imagine that this is more like a survey. So I'm not going to go into this, but I would submit this. This is a really cool submit box. Look at that. Look at that animation. Whoever did your website, give them some props because it looks really good. It's just continuation of what's the purpose and how does every moment when a person has to decide to do something with you support the benefit there, if that makes sense. Jamin from Samson says, the shock mount I suggest for podcasting is not available. Can I use any shock mount? I would go to Amazon and look up shock mounts for the Q2U microphone. You're going to find a whole bunch of different options there that people are buying instead. You know, people who bought this also bought this. I'm not going to get into that right now, but hopefully that makes sense. Cool. Bernard says, real estate agents always have their photos on the printed ads. Real estate is a nasty business and they all need to get customers to themselves. It is a cutthroat business for sure. I wouldn't necessarily say nasty, but I know where you're coming from, right? But we need to make sure that we show up and we kind of deflate that nastiness and how to make it friendly, right? This is a very not so personal experience right now so far with offer moves, but it can be. And I think that moment when a person wants to get those multiple offers because that's why they're there. Now they're going to have questions in their mind. Okay, well, who am I working with? Does this thing actually work? What's the proof here? This is where you then support that, right? Based on that experience through the website with testimonials, a picture of you, just making people feel safe about this process, right? Again, you're asking people to put in their home address. That's a huge ask. And we need to make that a very frictionless process. Nope, no need to apologize, Damon. Okay. Let's keep going. This is Spanish and Go from Jim. Spanish and Go, they are people who have been in here for a while, and they come on the stream. So hopefully, maybe you're here today. If so, awesome. If not, we can remind them that they got their website reviewed in a previous stream. Okay, sorry, lost my train of thought. So number one, Immersion. So this is a sales page, by the way. This is not their home page. So this is their home page. Spanish. Learn Spanish, travel the world. Very clear, love that. I think the text should be bigger here. It doesn't stand out as much as it possibly could. Perhaps some darkening of the outsides can make it a little bit better. Excuse me, I'm about to sneeze. Never mind. Anyway, we've, I think, reviewed this webpage before. So you see how when I scroll down, I finally got this, but I think still we can benefit from selling this a little bit more. We need to sell the opt-in, right? So want to learn Spanish fast? Start here. Okay, cool. But asking for a name and email, especially like I don't necessarily think you may even need the last name because the less that person needs to do, the better. But I would still collect the first name. But still, like, what are some bullet points? What am I going to get when I subscribe? People do not want more email, so just keep that in mind. Let's see. So let's go back to that sales page. So this is specifically a sales page for Immersion Retreats, right? Don't just learn experience. Again, same comment here on this little font down here. I can hardly see it at all. I like the image. It's pretty cool. I would say that the image is maybe I would go B. It's very, very nice image. But it's a brick wall and a little bit of sky, and you're not even looking at me, or you're looking away. And typically, when it comes to an image that has some direction, whether it's an arrow or your face is being used as arrows because people want to follow to see what you're looking at, you're looking off screen now. Because my eye follows where you are. Have you ever been in a crowd and have just seen people look up? What does everybody else do? They look up and they want to see it too. So I'm not seeing what you want me to see. Versus if you had this image and on the right-hand side, perhaps it was also looking at this beautiful landscape or city versus just a brick wall and you looking off in the distance. That would then support what it is that we're doing, right? So Immersion Retreats, we could, what's the one sentence that would help you describe what an immersion retreat is? Perhaps it's come with us and learn Spanish in person Or perhaps the best way to learn a language is with people who speak that language too. Come on our immersion retreat, or just some sentence that would help. Pramanik, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you. I see you. I hear you. I appreciate you. Immersion retreats. So what does that mean? Learn Spanish with us in person on an amazing trip that you will remember for a lifetime, right? Don't just learn experience. Unforgettable Spanish immersion program. Postponed, of course, yes, but I'm going to share just more information. Collect a wait list. You need to be collecting a wait list right now, because then by the time things open back up, it's going to... So, okay, I see it down here. So this is cool. You're collecting a wait list. But I think it needs to go like right up top. Like right here where you mention, you share and you display and you sell this, right? Okay, you have it here too. I shouldn't have to click out to do that. So you're having me click to go to the bottom. Like just put a form, just literally just put a form there. No friction whatsoever, right? So let's click play on this. I want to see.
Are you ready to take your Spanish to the next level?
We're Jim and Mai from Spanish & Go, your resource for learning real-world travel Spanish. And we set out to create a Spanish immersion experience like no other.
Instead of classrooms, we build community by learning Spanish together.
Ooh, that's cool. I like what you said there. Instead of classrooms, we learn Spanish together on these immersion retreats, right? I really like that. Let's keep going here. I want to watch a little bit more.
And instead of textbooks, we created a week-long transformation.
Everyone knows that nothing beats immersion. That's why we created our Spanish immersion program in the heart of the Spanish-speaking world, where we cover the most important and commonly overlooked topics in real-life situations.
See, these images here of you teaching people are like, whoa, this is real life. Like, this is a real thing that you do, and I absolutely love that. So great video, by the way. Honestly, I mean, look at how much room is used for nothing right now. This video, people need to watch it, right? People need to watch it. Thank you, Karaoke Pub Crawl. I appreciate you being here. But this image here of you with like real life people of all ages, all colors, all experiences, like that's selling it for me. That needs to be up here, right? Because the immersion retreat's not about you. And again, this is a beautiful image, but it's about where people are at and bringing the people together. So how might you then have an image to reflect that, right? And again, hopefully some testimonials. Okay, great. This is perfect. And another, okay, let's keep going. Fees and payments. So kind of what it's like. I'm ready, sign me up. So I would imagine that as we finish up here, thank you, Atreef. This is something that doesn't, it's not a cheap thing. I would imagine that there could be a way to have people talk to you, perhaps like a consultation call, or perhaps you host a monthly webinar where you can bring people on and talk to a group of people together to just explain a little bit more, to answer questions. I think that there's going to be a number of questions that people have, which as you can see here, yes, you do answer these questions, which is good. But people are still going to have and ask the same questions. And if they can hear from you and your voice, you can almost use that as an opportunity, almost as if it were a sales call. And if people are getting onto those calls, whether it's one-on-one or not, then if you can answer those questions, I mean, they're warm at that point. They're likely to say yes. So instead of like buying something like this is a big ask. So sometimes a little bit of connection to you can go a very long way. And you can even start that experience right on that call, right? And then sell people into getting into that program, right? I think that would be really cool. The other thing that would benefit on this page to finish up, and this will be my last thing today, is what is giving people a reason to sign up now? This is for any product, not just immersion programs, but any of you who are selling anything or even offering something for free, like on an email list. What is making people take action on that now? Because most people default to, well, this isn't that important right now, or I can do this later, or this is important to me, but I'll wait till tomorrow. How do you make sure people don't wait till tomorrow? Right? How do you make sure people don't just wait till tomorrow? So on an immersion retreat, for example, it can be, hey, book a call with us so we can learn more if this is the right fit for you, right? I like that positioning. But book now because we only have a number of seats available, or book now before these opportunities get filled up, right? So I think that would be a reason to, hey, we need to make a decision now. We as marketers, as entrepreneurs, have to help people get to a decision-making point. If we don't help people through their confusion, through their wonder, through their curiosity, through their distraction, understand why they're in the right place, but they need to take action with us now, then we've lost them. We have to be professional decision-maker helpers. That's what we are, right? So not just give the reason the people should sign up, give people a reason to sign up right now. What is the scarcity? Where's the urgency, right? Scarcity and urgency. Thank you, Hasta La Vista boss. By the way, you had mentioned something you wanted me to review. Can you pop it in the chat really quick? I'd love to check that out here really quick because you've been in here quite often. You've been very patient. If you could share where it is that you want me to review. I think it was a YouTube channel, was it not? Let me know. I'll do that for you next before we go back. But on an immersion retreat, it could be something like, hey, these seats are going to be going away. On a book, right, or a course that's evergreen, well, there are still ways to include things that go away, right? You can have a bonus that gets removed after a certain point, or the price goes up after a certain time, or perhaps enrollment closes so you can focus on working with the students who have come in, right, if that makes sense. Even if there's not anything that gets taken away, you can still include urgency. And urgency should be in amplifying what will continue to happen related to the problem if they don't take action now, right? So if somebody says, for example, hey, you want to get my weight loss program, here it is. It's always available. You can get it now if you want. But the thing that I think can be included is, hey, every day that you don't take care of your health is a day that you are putting yourself more in danger. And you have to, there's a delicate balance, related to fear and using fear to sell. We have to be very, very careful. But there is something to be said for, hey, you need to take care of this now, because if you don't, things can happen that we don't want, or you'll continue to feel lost in your way of trying to find a podcast, or you're gonna continue to hit start and stop on your podcast. Audacious Life, are you okay? Like, are you just hitting the keyboard? I hope you're okay. I'm seeing a lot of random things coming from you, but yeah. It's okay if that was a mistake. No worries. Just if that keeps happening, I'll have to, silence that. Anyway, yeah. So let's give people a reason to buy, and you can tap into the big problem and amplifying the problem and what might happen if they don't take care of that, right? Trying the keyboard out. Yeah. Okay. Let's go to YouTube really quick, and I'm gonna hook up Hasta La Vista Boss. Since we're here and I got some time here on Sunday. Okay, here we go. Hasta La Vista Boss. Let's click on this. Let's see what happens. So now we're reviewing a YouTube channel.
Hey, what's going on? Adrian Diaz here with Hasta La Vista Boss.
Cool. Number one, I was hoping to see a welcome video there. I was hoping, because a lot of YouTube channels that reviewed here in the past just haven't had that. And you have that opportunity to edit and put that onto your page there, which is cool. I was also checking out your artwork. Great. Number one, you have artwork. Let me read it really quick. Create a side hustle, make it profitable, quit your job, become your own boss, from employee to online business owner. That's perfect. That's absolutely perfect. So this is like you in construction gear, and it's like from left to right. Now you're an online business owner, the boss. You're at home. You have a computer. That's really cool. I'm very impressed so far. Become your own boss. The hard thing about this niche is there's a lot of people talking about the same thing. Oh no, Audacious Life, you spilled coffee on your keyboard. I knew something was up. I hope you're okay and your keyboard's all right. It just seemed kind of random. Okay, so let's keep going here. 536 subscribers, that's great. The hard thing about this industry, however, is everybody's doing this too, or a lot of people are. So what is it unique about you and the way you do it, or perhaps there's a particular kind of people that you offer this service to? Is this, I don't know. What's going to be unique about the way that you teach it? How soon will I realize that, right? Real hustler story. What is Hasta La Vista Boss all about? So that's kind of your welcome. Upcoming live streams, you go live, which is really cool. You have actually multiple live that people can subscribe to. So these thumbnails are very difficult. They're not going, hey, Pat Flynn style. That's cool. There's a lot happening here. I think these thumbnails are not helping you at all. I like that it says what they're about, but then there's a let's build a website together thing on the top, and there's images that I can't see. They're too small. And again, remember, people are seeing these on their phones. Public case study on the bottom, you're trying to put too much. I would have something perhaps related to these things be the image, like keyword research, and maybe having a some sort of search bar or something in there, and making them a little bit more unique. When I did that, even for my lives, I've seen much better results, like literally a 25 to 35% increase in just click-throughs because those thumbnails were much better. Okay, in the trenches with real people. So again, yeah, not bad. I'm not so hot on the sort of thumbnails that look the same. It's hard for me to see, because they look all the same, what exactly they're all about, right? I have to read. And unfortunately, you are, like here, for example, how to stop overthinking. How to stop overthinking. You're using the same text. You don't need to use the same text there. You are just doubling up and wasting that real estate, right? Real estate. I want to go and see what your most popular videos are and see what we might be able to infer from there. Again, artwork, probably some of the best artwork that we've seen so far in terms of just clarity on what this is about, right? The orange and blue theme is cool. Let's look to see what's popular. So what's popular here is like something specific to a tool that probably people are finding through SEO. Keywords. So a lot of keyword and SEO related stuff, which is cool. Yeah, it's just my eye is hurting, honestly, just trying to figure out where I should go or what I should look at. Versus you can remove stuff from the thumbnails and actually have them be more powerful, right? Like here you kind of do a sort of good job. How to reverse engineer your competitors using free tools. So you mentioned that already in the title, so that's not necessary. So the keywords there, and I see you in the lower right-hand corner. I don't think you necessarily need to show up in every single thumbnail like that. Like it's so small that it's not going to help out, and plus you can see your face is covered anyway in the lower right hand corner. Let's see. Let's go into one of these videos and just see. Let me see if I can find some of your more recent ones, and this is where we're gonna finish up here. I'll spend another 2 minutes here. See, this is better. This is much clearer. This is like a big stop. It's like disavow. Disavow crappy links. So let me click on that and just see kind of how you position this. And you can see this has even more views than some of your other ones. And I think it's because, look at this thumbnail will stop me when I'm scrolling. You have to imagine people are on their phones. They're scrolling up. None of these text related things are going to capture people's attention and stop people. It's like something like this. Look at this, 518 views. This is the one that stood out to me. Why do you think? Because I saw a giant face and now I'm curious, right? But all these ones with text, like look at the pattern here. The one with the big face, hundreds of views. The one with the big face, 100 views. Another one with the big face, more views. Scrolling down, another one with a big picture and a face, hundreds of views. Versus these other ones who do not have any images whatsoever. Let's scroll down more, right? A big face, 153 views. Big face, 378 views. All these other ones aren't even at 100 yet. So wow, that's what we discovered here. So I'm gonna click this. Let's watch the first bit of it, but let's see how you hook me in. So this is a live chat, I would assume.
In today's video, we'll have a look at how to disavow links in the new Google Search Console. We'll talk a little bit about why you would want to disavow low quality backlinks pointing to your website.
Sorry.
So I go.
This is cool. I like this image. It makes me want to connect with you really quickly. I would have this screen right here as soon as possible. It took me 5 seconds to start. And again, I'm watching this later, so that's a different experience than people watching it live. But this right here is where I'm like getting to know you. I see you. I see this green screen. You could talk about it. Even right here, people saw this thumbnail already. You don't need to show them the same thumbnail that they saw. Let's get right into you connecting with the audience and hooking people in why Disavow is important. And instead of, like, I would just get it right into it, right? Hey, y'all, do you want to know the difference between a website that gets very, very good search engine results and others that don't? Well, Disavow links is a thing that's going to help you do that. And if you don't know what that is, make sure you stick around because I'm going to teach you what that is and how to do it and make it easy for yourself. If you've heard of Disavow, awesome. If not, no worries. Either way, you're going to learn here, right? So the long intros on things like this are not going to work out very well. So anyway, talked about a lot of things there today, and hopefully that was helpful for you, and you're doing a lot of things great. Let's work on the thumbnails, and let's work on the beginning parts of those videos to hook people in. But as you saw, those thumbnails with the faces, people stop, and they watch. And with all this great content you're creating, you're doing yourself a disservice because people can't find your stuff, or they're not inclined to click through because it's just not interesting to look at, or they just scroll through. So anyway, hopefully that was helpful for you. Thank you so much for your time and attention today. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about Instagram specifically and different strategies and things that work, things that don't, and different approaches that people take. So great stuff today. Thank you so much, everybody. Make sure #Team Flynn for the win. But hey, Quaranteam, if you haven't yet done so, hit that thumbs up for me so that other people can see that there is some good stuff here when they watch later. And again, if you're watching the replay, thank you so much. And coming tomorrow, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern, patflynn.com/the-income-stream. And we're going to have some more fun tomorrow. So thank you so much. Great job today. Appreciate all the super chats. Thank you. I saw one that came in recently from, where did this come in from? From Pramanik, how to build community from our YouTube channel. I have a Vedic astrology channel. Getting them involved would be the best tip I can offer you, right? A lot of channels who have, and the reason I'm keeping going is because you offered a super chat, so I want to give you some love here. But on YouTube channels, getting people involved, not just in the not just in the comments, but letting them help even you with what videos they want to see. Showing that you're listening to the community, bringing questions from the community into the chat and into the video itself to show that you're connected to them is really great. And they can connect to each other too. Highlighting the success stories and the members of your community. These are great things that we YouTubers can do. And people get really excited about that. And they feel more connected to the community when you showcase them within your videos themselves. So hopefully that helps. Thank you so much, everybody. Great day. I appreciate you. I will see you tomorrow, 8 a.m. Pacific. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace out. Thank you so much.
This is the income stream to help you achieve your dream, all while we keep it clean. This is the income stream. It's the kind of show where you can come and go, but then you leave inspired with no fee required. The income stream with Pat Flynn.
Yo, everybody, thank you so much. Like I said in the beginning, make sure you take some time for yourself and to meditate or to go on that run or walk that you've been wanting to go on, because it's really important for your mental health. A little bit of exercise goes a long way. These are tough times, but hey, let's stick through it together. We got this. Peace out. Love y'all.